On the Hawkeyes Sports Network from Learfield, this is the Fight for Iowa podcast. Brought to you by Athletico Physical Therapy, proud partner of the Iowa Hawkeyes and the Big Ten Conference. Hy-Vee, where there's a helpful smile in every aisle. Iowa's corn farmers of the Iowa Corn Growers Association and Iowa Corn Promotion Board. You may think Iowa grows corn, but the truth is, corn grows Iowa. Shields, we're right there with you in Des Moines, Sioux City, Iowa City, and Cedar Falls. University of Iowa Healthcare, changing medicine, changing lives. This is the Fight for Iowa podcast. Here's the voice of the Hawkeyes, Gary Dolphin.
The madness starts in Minneapolis. The quality and quantity of the Big Ten women's and men's basketball tournaments may be unequaled this season. The power polls reflect that. The Big Ten has 5 schools in this week's Associated Press Top 25 women's rankings, with 3 in the top 10, Iowa, Indiana, and Maryland. The Pac-12 is the only other league that can match that total. The Hawkeyes, of course, hold the ace card in Caitlin Clark. Named this week the Conference Player of the Year for a second time, Clark is a finalist for every major national award. Clark is averaging 27 points a game and dishes out 8 assists. That's number 1 in college basketball. Clark was joined on the first team by Hawkeye post Monica Sonano, while McKenna Warnock was honorable mention. Talented freshman Hannah Stolke was voted Big Ten's 6th Player of the Year. Stolke shot 61% from the field, averaging 7 points and 4 rebounds. The Hawkeyes are the tournament's 2 seed behind league champ Indiana. Maryland and Ohio State received the other double byes. We talk Hawkeye women's basketball on this week's Fight for Iowa podcast right after this.
More of the Fight for Iowa podcast after this.
After a cancer diagnosis, it's natural to want to start treatment right away. But first, get a second opinion from a team that specializes in your cancer. I'm Dr. George Weiner, Director of University of Iowa Holden Comprehensive Cancer Center. Before you start treatment, you deserve to be confident you have the right diagnosis and know every option available to you. So whether it's with us or somewhere else, get a second opinion. It can change your care and your life.
Join Gary Dolphin and Bobby Hansen for Hawk Talk with Fran McCaffrey each week at the Hyatt Regency Hotel in Coralville. Hawk Talk is 90 minutes of discussion about Iowa basketball. Check out HawkeyeSports.com for more information.
Hey everyone, I'm Mark Wahlberg, and I have some exciting news to share. At Wahlburgers, we are all about bringing the family together to enjoy a great meal and have a great time. That's why right now, for a limited time, kids eat free every day at all Hy-Vee Wahlburger locations. Kids 12 and under can enjoy 1 free kids meal with any purchase of an adult burger, sandwich, or entree salad.
Bring the family to Wahlburgers and the Wahlburgers and Hy-Vee stores, where right now kids can eat free.
Now back to the Fight for Iowa podcast. Here's the voice of the Hawkeyes, Gary Dolphin.
Iowa women's basketball has superstar Caitlin Clark and many other gifted pieces to the puzzle. Redshirt senior Kate Martin holds the collective intangibles a coach wants on the floor and in the huddle. Martin earned the Hawkeye Sportsmanship Award this season. Her talents are displayed all across the board. 15th in career assists, approaching 400. Understanding who to get the ball to, Martin likewise knows where the basket is, especially against tougher draws. Scoring 19 against Indiana in that one for the ages game. Martin dropped a career-high 20 on Connecticut back in November and posted a double-double against then number 2 Ohio State in Columbus. A native of Edwardsville, Illinois, the 6-foot guard forward isn't afraid of the moment thanks to the coaching and chemistry.
When you get to stay with the same starting 5 for 3 years in a row, that's pretty special. A lot of players are coming and going, especially with the transfer portal now, but I think the time and the dedication that people have put into this team is what makes it really special, the coaches included. And so, these girls are some of my best friends, so I feel lucky to be able to have another year with them this year, and it's been quite a ride, and it's been really fun so far.
Beyond the numbers of Caitlin and Monica in particular, what makes them so special beyond points and rebounds in steering the ship and making sure everybody's on the same page?
Yeah, well, Caitlin's basketball IQ is higher than anyone I've ever met before, and she just sees the floor so well. And I mean, they both draw so much attention that it helps players like me, McKenna, and Gabby get open, when Monica's getting doubled or Caitlin's getting doubled, that leaves somebody open on the court. So that just helps the entire team of the with that aspect. And Mon, she's just so smart down in the post where she just does her work so early. She's learned that. And in a physical conference like the Big Ten, she's had to learn that. And when you get your work done early, you're going to be open. And if you have someone on the floor like Caitlin, she can find you even in that split second. So their duo together is awesome. And then the attention that they draw just helps the others on the court as well.
I don't want to say you've become more of a scorer. You could always score, but are you looking? You seem to be looking for that shot more this year.
I would definitely say yes. I know the time that I've put in and the time that the coaches have put in with me. And, I mean, when I'm open, I have the confidence that I've put in the time that I know I can knock down that shot. And so I think that's a little different from last year. And I've always put in time, but I know that how extensive hours I put in this summer and this fall. And so my three-point shot is feeling very confident. It feels really good. And so I'm ready to shoot, which has helped open up drives too for me. So when you can shoot the three, that opens up drives, and when you can drive, that opens up the three a little bit too. So I've been lucky in that regard this year.
And your passing hasn't tailed off. You're still a great assist person out there. Tell me about the coaching staff. Much has been made about how they've been together seemingly forever, which they have for a long time. But how does that help a veteran club?
I mean, we just all trust each other so much. We know the coaches know basketball more than any other coaching staff in the country. They've been together longer than, I'm sure most coaching staffs, in men's or women's side, and so they know the game so well. And then since we've been together for so long, the players, they know us really well too. And so our chemistry with the coaches and being able to communicate with them on and off the court just helps. Coach or Caitlin might come in the huddle and be like, "Hey, coach, I think this play is going to work." And coach is like, "All right, let's run that play." And so that trust right there, that's huge. And to be able to have that communication from players to coaches, that just benefits us a lot.
The games that I've been able to watch and listen to this season, youth is important. An injection of new blood is always important to any basketball program. And someday you guys are going to leave.
Yeah.
Hannah Stuelke is just, her upside seems immeasurable.
Yeah. She definitely has no ceiling on her potential. And just her athleticism in general, it's unlike anything I've seen come through Iowa. Anybody I've played with, her athleticism is unreal. And what I love about her is her willingness to learn and her willingness to want to get better and put in the time. And so as a freshman, getting these invaluable minutes and just, wanting to put in the time and work hard, that's just something you love to see out of a freshman. And she's very coachable. And so when she comes on the minute, she's more efficient than most players, who put in those minutes. And so it's been really impressive to see her start to the end of this season so far. And she's just getting better and better. And I'm really excited to see where she ends up at the end of her 4 years.
Kate Martin has announced she'll return for a 6th year next season. And we'll have more Fight for Iowa podcast in just a minute, courtesy of Shields, Athletico, UIHC, and Iowa Corn.
More of the Fight for Iowa podcast after this.
We all love a good win. Catching up with friends, saving money at the pump, soaking up the perfect Iowa day, sitting down to a really, really good meal. These are the everyday delights that make us smile. These are the moments that connect us all as Iowans. And these are the wins that, more often than not, start with Iowa's farm families and the crop they're growing. Because when corn grows Iowa, Iowans win. Learn more about how to share your own wins at iowacorn.org/IowansWin.
You don't have to go to the game to get a game program. You can download it now by visiting the Game Day page on HawkeyeSports.com. That's right, the game program is now digital and it's free. So check it out. Get the roster, the stats, and fascinating stories about today's matchup. Just go to HawkeyeSports.com and click on Game Day.
Oh, you know that old injury of yours? The one in your knee or maybe back? Instead of going to the doctor and then doing physical therapy, why not start with therapy first? Athletico Physical Therapy is changing the whole healing process around. Their physical therapists will find the source of your pain and help fix it. Start with them and start living pain-free. Just like that.
It all starts with Athletico Physical Therapy. Schedule your free assessment at athletico.com. No prescription needed. Proud partner of the Iowa Hawkeyes.
Now back to the Fight for Iowa podcast. Here's the voice of the Hawkeyes, Gary Dolphin.
You've heard it before, but it bears repeating. Iowa women's basketball's sustained record of success is built on players and coaching. With Lisa Bluter in the lead, the Hawkeye staff of teachers, recruiters, and leaders is unparalleled for longevity. Associate head coach Jensen is in her 23rd year and one of the nation's top recruiters. Jensen works primarily with and develops the Hawkeye Bigs. It's no coincidence the Hawks have 5 of the Big Ten's last 6 most valuable players, and 2 of those trophies belong to center Megan Gustafson, who went on to win the national award. Jensen herself, one of the Iowa high school greats while at Elkhorn Kimballton and also starred at Drake, pinpoints this team's plethora of veterans, which creates moxie and grit. They've been there before. However, Jensen was quick to add in the youth factor, the immediate future of the program.
But I think the extra factor right now is Hannah Stuelke coming off the bench. She gives us a whole different look than what we had last year. She hunts rebounds, she craves rebounds, and she just changes how we look and how we act when she's in the game. And I think our team loves Hannah Stuelke, and they love when she comes in, whether she gets 6-7 minutes or upwards 15 to 20. I think they have a little confidence that we got something a little different than we did last year.
We all love Monica Sonano, too, and of course you work with the bigs. Now, go back to Megan Gustafson, and I'm not asking you to compare to Monica. They are different players somewhat, but what is it that has impressed you about Monica through her career? Well,
Monica, she came in and I think she kind of questioned, can I, should I, am I? Because there wasn't a lot of big Power Fives that recruited her. So what she had to do first and foremost, she was excited about coming, but to really let herself believe that she could ascend to what we saw in her. And when a kid has to really, have a motor, which we liked, and she had the motor, but it's been really fun to watch her mindset. And as she started to believe or allow herself to believe, I think sometimes kids, if they, aren't exactly wired with that unrelenting confidence coming in, that can be their biggest hurdle. And I've always told her that really the only person that can defend you, Mon, is in your mind. That's the only person, because once you get in that mindset, because she has such a uncanny little knack around the basket, and she worked on that, So I think that's been my most fun part, is just watching her continue to believe, and once it's clicked in, she just really has been one of our hardest workers to overcome her limitations that she had. She runs really great north and south, and she has incredible hands, and she's pretty much been money for us the last couple of years. So I'm thrilled with her development.
M-O-N, that's a good start to the word money, isn't it? She has been money. 5 of the last 6 years now, the Hawkeyes have had the Player of the Year in the Big Ten. Is it the system? Is it the eye test that the coaches are just that unique as a veteran group that's been together a long time? Obviously, there's a lot of talent involved, but what is it about the Iowa way?
That's a great point. When you say it like that, 5 out of 6 years, that is, even if I wasn't a Hawk, that's pretty dang impressive. I hadn't really heard it said like that. I think it is a testament to the system and a testament to Lisa's coaching. Because when you look at it, it's always been a little different. We've had Megan Gustafson built around this tremendous post player. And then everybody expected us to be down. And then you have Kathleen Doyle, who was played off the ball. And then when she got the ball in her hands as the point guard, we surprised everybody and had a tremendous year. It was the COVID year. But then she became, the point guard, Player of the Year. And then when Caitlin Clark came in, everybody's like, well, can she play in a system? How they're going to handle that? That's not usually a Lisa-type player. And then she's just become, arguably one of the most electrifying players in the country, let alone the Big Ten. And I just really credit Lisa a lot. We have a template, and we stay true to it. We don't keep recreating the blueprint, but she's able to tweak it. And when she sees where the strengths are, she's able to highlight that. And then I think it becomes so obvious, to the voters that, like, wow, they're not really thinking like, well, we shouldn't give it to Iowa again, because sometimes that comes into play, right? Sure. Especially with a kid like Caitlin, it's like, well, she should do that because, and you're like, she should do what? Almost average a triple-double? Tell me why she should do that. So I'm glad that, I think the system itself kind of makes it obvious. And then certainly it's the type of players we've been able to attract, and they do all the work.
Coach Jensen calls this year's Big Ten tourney field the strongest ever. Much like the men, the women's depth of strong teams was apparent all season. As an example, 6-seed Illinois has beaten most of the teams in front of it, including Iowa. 8th-place Nebraska beat Maryland by 20 on its home floor, and the Terps have won 6 games in a row. March Madness has indeed arrived. I'll be back after this timeout.
More of the Fight for Iowa podcast after this.
Knowing that I can make a difference in my patients' lives keeps me motivated every single day. Hi, I'm Dr. Kanya Ferguson at University of Iowa Healthcare. With academic medicine, we see the toughest cases, so we're always innovating. And we bring the best minds together to collaborate, so there's more brain power focused on you. Because that leads to exceptional care for our patients and our community. See how at uihc.org.
Hawkeye fans, join Rob Brooks and Lisa Bluter each week from 6 to 7 for Hawk Talk at Bumps Restaurant, presented by Oak Knoll. View the season schedule at HawkeyeSports.com.
Hey, Hawkeyes fans, the wait is over. The Iowa men's and women's basketball teams are back on the court, and Shields has everything you need to cheer on your favorite players all season long. Take your game day gear to the next level with Shields Fan Shop. We have an unmatched lineup of gear, including jerseys, hats, hoodies, and more to help you show off your team colors. So gear up, Hawkeyes fans, and celebrate all season with Shields, a proud partner of Iowa basketball and hoops fans everywhere.
Now back to the Fight for Iowa podcast. Here's the voice of the Hawkeyes, Gary Dolphin.
Iowa men's basketball is fighting for a double bye through to Friday at next week's Big Ten tournament at the United Center in Chicago. The Hawks are ready to honor their 2 departing seniors, Connor McCaffrey and Philip Rebracha, at Sunday's season finale with Nebraska in Carver Hawkeye Arena. I'm Gary Dolphin. That's this week's Fight for Iowa podcast. Thanks for listening, and go Hawks.
You've been listening to the Fight for Iowa podcast. Hawkeye fans, remember to hit the subscribe button on your favorite podcast app. Once you become a Fight for Iowa podcast subscriber, you'll automatically receive the latest episodes of the Fight for Iowa podcast, the Hawkeyes Voice podcast, Hawk Talk replays, exclusive game day content, and more. Until next time, on Iowa, and go Hawks! The preceding has been a Learfield presentation on the Hawkeye Sports Network.